Whew. Okay, 2 letters, 1 word. Come on, we can say it. Ready? Take a deep breath. Here goes. 1, 2, 3. No. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Wackett. Thanks for joining me for another video as we work to empower and equip you with the confidence and skills to write your own story so that you can live your life on purpose. Today, I want to talk about one of the most important words that we can ever know and definitely need to start saying more. No. There's something genetically embedded in all of us that makes us feel like saying no is the equivalent of calling someone The pressure to fit in or make others happy leads us to fill our plate and spend our resources, time, money, and energy on things that we don't want to feel validated, worthy, or good enough. We worry that by being honest about how we want or need to spend our time will make us seem selfish or lacking in compassion, or maybe someone's going to think we're just apathetic and not invested in the relationship. So we find ourselves in a state of perpetual yes. Oh, my list of yes, but I really want to say no's is endless. I grabbed coffee with a woman I met at a networking event that I didn't really vibe with, but I didn't say no because I shouldn't turn down a contact. I've gone out with friends when I really wanted to be catching up on my own work or going to bed early because I was overrun with FOMO and the fear of being left behind. I've skipped time to work out or take a bath because the list of things I should be doing or because someone else needed me consumed me. I've taken on projects or tasks for someone else, getting caught in the chaos of their life and dreams at my own expense because I feel bad. I've made business decisions to spend time on things that don't bring me joy because, this is what it means to be an entrepreneur, right? And you have to do X to be successful. I could go on, but you get the picture. And my guess is you're starting to think of these things for you too. So let's take a minute and I want you to think about all the things that you have said yes to in the last week maybe that you didn't want to. How many events did you go to? Actions did you take? Or resources did you spend on things that added no value or meaning to your life? And for what? Now, before we dive into the question I know you all have, how do we stop doing this? We need to back it up and first answer the question, why do we do it? The short answers: fear, shame, cultural norms, identity and role bias, FOMO, or the fear of missing out. We've adopted a belief that we are not good enough, worthy, or lovable unless fill in the blank. And for many of us, that includes putting ourselves last, taking a more people pleaser or passive role in life, and feeling like we should or have to say yes because the person asking us is in a place of power or has greater worth. If we say no, they might be upset with us, and then our place could be unsteady. If we say no, people might stop inviting us places or we'll end up alone. If we say no, we're a bad partner, employee, friend. The rules and pressures become insurmountable, and they all boil down to our brain trying to protect us from feeling disconnected and unlovable, while subconsciously reinforcing that we're not inherently lovable or worthy unless. My not saying yes doesn't change my worth and value. My not saying yes doesn't make me a lesser person. But when our brain has existed in these norms for so long, where we've been made to believe that it does, it's hard to suddenly change that belief and to reclaim the power that it's inherent within us to make the choices best for us, without assuming it's a you versus me. But instead, it's about just the ways I need to take care of myself and create the life I'm not only excited about living, but where I can be fully present. Okay, so now the bigger question. What do we do about it? Well, for starters, we have to practice saying the word no out loud. I know that seems silly, but for many of us, we never really say it. Instead, we say, I'd like to, but I wish I could. Or we passively decline by either canceling last minute, never responding, or making up some excuse that's out of our control, leading us to have to say no. like kids as a great example. But all that does is reinforce that all of those feelings we talked about are valid. It just leads us to feel like we're lesser and that we can't honor our own desires or feelings. Once you get comfortable with the word itself, we have to start reflecting on the things that you're saying yes to. So first, the real step is that we have to figure out if you really want to do it or not. Now, this part is tricky. Again, for many of us, we've been caught in a place of shoulds for so long, it can be hard to decipher what we really want and what we feel we should do. So for me, I like to break it down into these 3 questions. Why am I doing this? What's the return on my investment? And is it a hell yes or not? Okay, so let's take it deeper. First off, why am I doing this? I have to tap into the driving forces that make me want to say yes. Is it because I feel bad saying no? Is it because I'm excited about what I've been asked to do? Do I want it? Is the motivation coming from an internal place or an external pressure? Do I hear myself saying, I should, or coming up with a list of reasons that I have to say yes? Do I feel annoyed saying yes, or find myself already planning to cancel? And most importantly, how does this connect to my values? What's important to me in my personal and professional life, and how does saying yes to this play into that? Now, second, if I say yes, what's the return on my investment? You have to think about how everything we invest in takes time, energy, and often money. Now, not every investment that's worthwhile has a positive return. Some things I'm totally okay taking a hit on because it fills my values cup, or maybe takes away from time and money, but adds to my energy cup. But many of our yeses put us in the red on all 3 categories. Yet we keep saying yes. So with every opportunity, especially with a business practice, you have to ask yourself about the project ROI and if it's something that you're willing to assume a loss for. Are you willing to invest your resources in X, even though not only will it take time, money, and energy, but it's also going to lead to greater anxiety and frustration? Are you going to say yes simply to satisfy other interests? It sounds weird, but you have to do a cost-benefit analysis and really think about the role that each of these decisions plays into your sense of self and worth. Now, finally, and sometimes this is the hardest part, but with any decision faced, you have to remind yourself if it's not a hell yes, it needs to be a no. Meaning that if I'm still feeling stuck in the in-between of what to do, I have to check in with my gut and intuition. And if I'm not getting a resounding spark of excitement or commitment, I have to trust that and turn it down. Now, I did a video a while back on this, so I'll be sure to link to that in the show notes. But as you're going through this, I just want you to pay attention to what comes up for you. Okay, so now that we've done that, we've figured out how do we say it, why are we not saying it, and what do we think about whether we need to say it or not. Now we need to go, what do we do? How do we do it? You just say it. No. And don't get me wrong, you can say no thank you or put a little something more on it to be polite, but don't bury a hole with your response that gives people an opportunity to play into your shame, fear, or guilt. To start training your brain that you not only will be okay when you do, but that you have the right to say no, we have to speak from a place of assertiveness. We have to remove all of those driving emotions and to not put the success factor on how others will respond. See, people are always going to push you. People are always going to work to erode your boundaries, and people are going to be disappointed no matter what. This isn't because the boundary you set or the no that you're saying is wrong. This has to do with people wanting things that they want, not what you need. I remember when I quit my last job before going full-time with my own business. After putting in my notice, I had to revisit that conversation at least a half a dozen times in the 6 weeks I was still there. Every time there was a new proposal or plan. Every time they would tell me how they wanted to do whatever they could to keep me. And did it feel nice? Absolutely it did. So nice, in fact, that I started to question if I should take them up on it. But thankfully, Jordan and I talked about it and how he could help me see that their ask wasn't about me. Their ask was about them. It was about avoiding their own discomfort and making things easier for them. It didn't connect at all to what I wanted and would leave me feeling even more disconnection and dissatisfaction in my life, because not only would I have continued to do something that I didn't want to do, but I would beat myself up for not just sticking to what I said. So through this and countless other examples, I've started to narrow down a list of tricks that I use to make it easier to say no. And not only to say it, but to mean it and to stand by it. Don't lie. Don't say things like, I wish I could, or I'd love to, but, unless that's really true. If you don't want to do it or don't think that it's a great idea, don't tell them that it is. All that does is open up doors for them to erode your boundaries. It becomes an invitation from you to be worked around or to find a solution when the solution is simply to say, no, thank you. Second, remove the qualifiers. Stop saying things like, I just have to do, or I know it doesn't seem important, or I know it's dumb, By minimizing that work we're doing or the why behind our decision, you reinforce the belief that you are less than and that you're making choices that are wrong or need to be approved of. You don't have to pretend the thing you're saying no to is better. It's not about better or worse. It's about values and priorities, and sometimes, no matter how good something is, we just don't want to do it. Third, use the broken record technique. I talk about this all the time in various communication trainings. Again, people will always try to erode your boundaries, and any opening we give them is a new opportunity. So craft your response before talking to them, and then no matter what somebody says, stick to your message. But why can't you come out with us or work on this tomorrow? Thank you for thinking of me. Tonight I'm going to work on my website. But it'll be so much fun and you never have time to hang out with us. Gosh, thank you so much for inviting me. I love that you care when I'm around and you want me to feel included. Tonight I'm going to work on my website. I hope you have fun. Or, this would be a really good opportunity for you. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to pass. You mean you don't care about how this could help you in your business? I appreciate so much you want me to be successful. And on this offer, I'm going to pass. It seems harsh, but again, nothing in those responses is mean, hurtful, or negative. It's just about sticking to a script and not assuming that others' reactions is then a pressure or a drive for you to fold. 4, let go of what others are going to think. The only thing in my control is how I show up. And if I'm honest with those around me and live a life in line with my values and without the intention of hurting people, then that's all I can ask for. How others respond is not my responsibility to take on. Which goes with number 5. People have the right to be upset. They get to be disappointed. That's okay. It doesn't mean I have to assume a responsibility to fix that. Because if I do, all I'm doing is creating suffering for myself, leading me right back to that state of feeling less than and becoming that yes person. Next, come back to your values and remind yourself that creating the life you want is about living for your own dreams, goals, and ideals. While one night out with friends or a random coffee meeting won't necessarily impede you from it, the underlying dismissal of what you want and who you are does. So think about this. Every choice we make creates a ripple. And no matter what we say yes to, we're always saying no to something else. Isn't it time we stop saying no to ourselves all the time? Now, as we wrap for today, I want you to let me know in the comments what's sitting with you. What reactions are you having? What are you taking from this video? And be sure to check out the show notes where I'm going to put a playlist on assertive communication that includes videos on that broken record technique that I mentioned, some more specific ways to say no, and way more. And if you haven't joined the AR Insider yet, be sure to click the link in the show notes and get yourself on the list so you can get exclusive content and discounts that I don't share anywhere else and stay in the know on all of the new content and projects that I'm working on. Now, if you like what you're hearing, please give me that thumbs up and share this video with someone else who could benefit from hearing it. And if you want to stay connected to all the things that I'm doing on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button. Thank you for being here with me today. Remember, you have the right to author your own story. So let's go get that pen back. I'll see you next time.